Hello and welcome to Dubai Trains. This video I'm going to build this custom designed kit from ABR Model Works. I'm looking to build a fun structure for quite a while, and then I saw on the ABR Model Works website that they also do custom kits. So I downloaded the templates from the website, I put all my ideas for the structure on the templates and came up with this design, and then I sent it off to Chris. And a few weeks later I got a package in the mail, so now we can start building after the intro. This video was made possible by ABR Model Works, providing kits and accessories for all model railroaders. Get your 10% discount with the coupon code DTSAVE10. Looking to support the model railroading community? Check out the Dubai Trains Patreon page to find out how you can contribute. So the kit consists of various components. First off, stacks and stacks of these panels. These are wall panels, and I already spread them out here on the workbench as you see, to lay out the wall plan of the structure. We'll go through that in a minute. There's also stacks of bricks and brick inserts. I'll explain that in a minute. And then there's a lot of 3D printed windows, of course. There's 3D printed bits and bobs and all types of components. Just look at my video number 93 how I would paint those. And then there's also a lot of onsets, a lot of cardboard pieces like that go onto the structure for detailing. We'll have a look at that as well. I also got some roller doors and some more small pieces here and there. What are all these panels? Well, these panels are just basically, I take one like this, just take all these pieces out, just like that. It's basically just a section of a building, just like that. So as you see in this little test I did, you got brick inserts here in the top, and then you can have a window optional as well. I also gave it a paint to have a little bit of an idea of what the outcome might look like. I don't like this color, I'm going to choose a different type of gray. I think overall this will be a nice look for the structure. It does need a lot of weathering, etc, etc. So what am I going to do now? First I'm going to get the structure all put in. I'm going to break away all these pieces. I'm going to keep them because we're going to need them later. I'm going to break them away and get the structure like this and put that together. And then once I have that, I'll get back to you. So one side note, this video is not to showcase how the system works. Chris already made a very good video specifically for this kit, how to put it together. Have a look if you're curious about that. This video is about how I make this kit and make it come to life. So without further ado, let's continue. So these are all the walls in flat format. I put in all the windows and the brick inserts. I just laid them on top just to get a general idea. So again, these panels are going to fold backwards, and these half windows are going to fold backwards as well. Now, I must admit, you need quite a lot of imagination to see this and this combined, but we'll just do it step by step and we'll get there. Now, one of the benefits of this kit is you see it right now. You see all these bricks are going to be in a totally different color than the framework. And if you get a normal plastic kit, a polystyrene kit, then oh my gosh, this is going to be a nightmare to tape off and then paint. I've done it in the past, but it's not going to be easy. And especially if you have all these little intricate parts just right here, this is definitely the way to go. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put all these pieces aside. I'm going to take them all out, and then I'm going to glue the frame together. I'm going to glue everything together. And then we have another nice detailing step to do before we even start painting and assembling any of this. So many nice steps, building it up layer by layer to create this fantastic detailed model. So here is the detailing, and what I mean by detailing, as you can see, I glued these pilasters onto the pillars. And it's just a little bit of an extra detail. It's raised by, I guess, 1/2 mil, something like that. So when you get them, they actually come in these packs. I have loads of them, and they have all different types of widths. So what you can do is you can just choose one width and stick it all the way from the top to the bottom of the building. So I want to make it a bit more of a fancy building. I actually tapered it, so down below is wide, and this section is a bit thinner, and this section is thinner, and then all the way at the top is the thinnest. So as you see, I did most of the columns. I didn't do the one on the corners yet. Before I can do those, I actually want to glue the structure together, just like that. And then I will glue on the pilasters here in the corner. So what else did I do? I did actually quite a lot on the back side. As you see, I had to glue on all these spacers. So what are we spacing for? I hear you asking right now. Well, this set came with a lot of floorboards and some and a roof. You see right here, and these need to be spaced out accordingly because you want to have them set flush. So if I just close it like that, wow, that really fits super tight. And you see it's now totally flush with the bottom of this brick section right here. So I space it out for that, and as well for this floor, and then we got the top floor that will go up here. I still need to trim this a bit. And then because we have an internal wall, I actually finished that one as well. So I even put some pilasters on here. Yes, this is going to be a super fancy kit. And this will go like that, because remember, it's an internal wall, and this is where the backdrop will be. And this one will go just in here. So it all fits very tight, very neatly. Look at that. That's cool, isn't it? Now it is time we talk about color. I have this structure as an example and this structure as an example. And what I want to show, because I have a structure with concrete and bricks, how this will all match up. So this is the concrete color I would initially use. This is a bit of my go-to color, let's say. And that's what it looks like on a different structure. And then I would use this brick color, which is my brick go-to color. And then you would get somehow a combination of this. So to visualize it a bit, I painted this test panel. So you see the gray right here. And then I would do a white mortar on the bricks just to freshen it up a little bit. And because this is gray, I would use a white or a gray mortar and not a creamy color, just to try to tie it in all together. So here I tried a pinkish wash and then a lighter wash on the mortar. Not too pleased about that. So once I did that and I started looking at my layout, I thought, well, it's all starting to look a bit like each other, so I'm going to mix it up a bit. And then if you look at the prototype, there's actually a lot of different color combinations that exist, that are out there. And I want to soften a bit, so I decided to go a bit more for a creamy color, see if I can get that in there. This is satin ivory silk. And then for the bricks, we don't have a lot of choice here when it comes to colors, so I chose All Japan's this color, satin paprika. Now, I know what you're thinking, wow, but just hold on for a minute. This will look just fine after we weather it and all that. But before going into things, I did a test sample. So here you see the ivory color, which looks very fresh. And then we have two variants of the bricks. One where I use the ivory color for the mortar, and one where I use a gray color for the mortar. The gray ties in nicely with the gray window, but I also like the ivory color because it's a bit more fresh if you look at it, and it also ties it in a bit more with the outlining of the concrete. So either you're going to tie in the bricks with the concrete or the bricks with a window. After changing the camera angle, what does this all look like? Something like this. Lovely jelly. Look at that. Floorboards are still in loose. I didn't glue them yet. I did cut them to the right angle, so I can just take those out for now. And there's a ceiling. This is going to be different anyways, but it's there. And then all the parts, I painted them as well. And this is the moment where you're going to say, wow, that's quite a commitment. Yes, it is quite a commitment. But as you'll see, after we put the mortar in, to really tone down the look that we're going for. So these will go right here. And yeah, I'm actually quite happy with it, quite pleased with it. Now, one thing I do want to say about painting, because this material is MDF, everything you put on here, for example, like this stain, is just going to massively suck into it. And so you do normally want to seal it. Now, it's also, if you look at Chris in his video, you see that he seals it, then he sandpapers it, then he paints it. More sandpapering, more painting, more sandpaper, and more painting. And I thought that could go a bit swifter and a bit easier. Because if you look at the MDF as a material, it's already so sharp. So in my opinion, it doesn't need to be sandpapered at all that much. And because these cans are basically all primer, we don't need to seal it. So I'm just going to take the easy way. So instead of all that sandpaper and painting, I sprayed this directly on the MDF. For me, this is really good enough. I do need to clean it up a little bit, get these grooves cleaned out. Now for the roof, I've been wanting to try this technique for a long time, and that is to cover it with a masking tape and then just spray paint it matte black. This is what it looks like, nothing too special. I tried to take a width, first off to make them equal, and second to make it a width that a standard tar band would have. So let's see what this looks like when it's done. If I don't like it, I can always take the tape off, and then there's the concrete color underneath, so no harm, no foul there. Now for the mortar, what I like to do is I'll just line them up like this. I made a little mixture here with an exciting color called sand from Decomart. Just dilute it with water, I think 2 to 1, so 2 parts water and 1 part paint. And then I'm just going to brush it on in here, just like that. And you can do a few at a time. I mean, there's a time element in it. If you wait too long, all your bricks are just going to end up in a cream color, so you don't want that. But you can definitely do a few at a time. And now you take a rag. You're going to use a lot of rag, a lot of cloth to basically remove most of the paint. So I do have a lot of tissue paper or a rag on standby. And then you just slightly dab and or brush away. Just leave that one there. Now what I like about this technique with just some random tissue paper like that is you also create some randomness. Not all the bricks have to be and are going to be the same. Now these parts, I'm going to leave them. I like this. This looks like it's not mortared properly, which is great, which it isn't, but also in the model, I really don't mind that. So now you got the picture, the general idea. What I do is I always put them next to each other so I can see which one really stands out. So that is bricks and mortar. So now it's time for a wash. I made quite an aggressive wash with about 3 drops of this lamp black, 1 drop burnt umber, and then as you can see it here, about I think 20 to 1. So 1 drop paint and then 20 drops water. You just gotta apply it quite thick and then brush it off again with a piece of cloth, with a rag or some tissue paper. Now I brush it off in a vertical motion because that's how the rain would take the water as well, and how everything would drip in the long term. If you're thinking, wow, that's quite an aggressive wash and coat. But if you look at the prototype pictures, then buildings were really dirty back in the day. Remember, we had so much grime and chimneys were unfiltered. The buildings would just get totally covered in all this grime. So here you can clearly see the difference of a section that's washed and a section that's not washed. So let me continue before it dries up too much. Now here's something I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and that is paint these doors. And what I'm going to do, because it's going to be a very characteristic feature of this structure, I'm going to paint them in different colors, and I'm going to use them in some kind of like primer ground paint that they would have had back in the day. Now don't worry, this is very vibrant, but you're going to see what's going to happen. So first I painted them in this stainless steel, as you see, looks like a refrigerator. And then I'm going to paint this one red and these 2 green. This will be the building with the red and green doors. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this. I'm going to make a heavy, well, I don't want to say wash, but a heavy paint. So I'm probably going to mix it 1 to 1 with water, or maybe even a little bit less water. Then as you'll see, I'm going to brush it on and then wipe it off again after a few seconds, just to leave the initial coloration there, but to still have the stainless steel shine through as if it's a very worn and old door. So see this as painting, still painting it. Then I'm going to do a black wash to make it muddy a bit, and then I'm still going to weather it with some rust colors. So a lot of steps and a lot of layers, but that's all going to add up and build up in the end, and that's what you want. Let's talk about windows. I have already weathered these, and it's so light it's actually difficult to see. Yeah, here you can see it. You see the like a light brownish buildup on every single window still, and also at the bottom window right there. And what I did as well is I don't want the windows just to be clear see-through. I want to give them some accents. Is I painted individual windows, as you can see here. I didn't paint them, I just put a blob of glue. I did a few test samples here, and you see there's one I painted white, there's a big blob of glue, and there's a lighter blob, and there's something with some black. And I found out that if you put a big blob of glue, then that will get the best result. Now for the wood flooring, I stained them with a wood stain. I stained both the front and the back. Mixed results. This one's starting to dry out a bit on the sides, and this one is actually all a bit too dark for my taste. So I'm going to apply a gray wash over it, and I already tried a bit right here. That's what it looks like, and that's way more the look I want to go for. This is just too dark right now. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb because most of the building is quite light. So just like that. Whoop, there we go. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. That's way better compared to that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the back as well, because the back, remember, will be the ceiling of the one underneath it. So let's do that as well. Now you've seen all the individual components, everything from the windows to the masonry to the roof. I don't know if I showed that yet, but that turned out quite nice. Still need some weathering though. The floorboards, and it's time to assemble it all. And I already did it, but it's super easy. Just take some sandpaper and you fit the windows in, and if they need a bit more fitting, you just sand them, and the same with the pieces right here. I glued maybe 1 or 2 of them in place, but all the others, they just fit naturally. So let me just finish this and then show you the final result. Now I do want to say I had an absolute blast making this kit. Everything from designing the structure to talking to Chris about the details to the actual construction, where you can really choose the style and the feel of your building. So really have a look at the abrmodelworks.com website, and if you use the coupon DTSAVE10, you even get 10% discount and help this channel out at the same time, because a little bit of the sales amount will go back to me as well. So a triple win for everyone. So you see the structure in full glory. I'm really happy with it. I must say I really like it. Came out very well. It was relatively easy to do. Just give it a try. I'm going to do something very special with this kit. If you want to see that, click the video on the right. And if that video is not done yet, then you'll see another nice video suggestion on the right. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.